You can't force a plant to grow, but you can give it space to grow. Hello everybody, Mr. Brown here, Proclaim Ministries, help connect faith and life. My wife does a lot of planting things around the house. When we first got married, she tried doing some plants and they all died, but she figured it out. We got plants in the house, we got plants outside the house, and one day she asked me to help her move this plant out of one pot to another pot, and she was just struggling with it. She was ready to break the pot, and I was like, let me help you out, baby. Let me get you. I got you. So I, used a little muscle, pulled it out, put in another one. I was like, why are you doing this? She's like, well, because we need to give it the root space to grow, right? Because it had outgrown the pot it was in. And as I think about that, I think about working with kids, even working with people for that matter. We need to give people space to grow, and especially kids, because sometimes we see a kid a certain way and we want them to grow, especially in church, want them to be in church, want them to sing, worship God. But listen, you can't force kids to worship God. You can't force them to do things, but you give them space to grow. For example, sometimes I see leaders trying to get kids to raise their hands and making them do stuff or stand up. And I was in church, it made me stand up. Now I respect it, but I didn't always sing because sometimes I didn't know the words. I didn't know what they meant. But I have this approach now. Give kids space to grow. Like when they're in church, maybe they're for the first time, and we want them to sing, get all happy and excited, because we like to see outward stuff. We like to see the outward behavior, right? But I can have kids doing the outward and there's nothing going on the inward, right? I'd rather have kids sitting there quietly, learning, listening to songs, versus me making them sing the songs and raise their hands and having a grudge about it. Like, what are you touching me, right? Sometimes as leaders want, hey, come on, try to get all excited. I give them space to grow. Remember the summer I was at a kids camp and I could tell these kids hadn't been to church before. And while everyone's up singing, holding their hands, these kids sat on the ground and they were just observing things, watching people. And I'm like, hey, that's fine. As long as you're not disturbing anybody else, hey, sit there and learn. And eventually, about day 3 or 4, they knew the songs and they were up there singing too. They didn't have their hands in the air, they weren't doing all motions, but they were participating. And I think I want to give kids space to grow. I can't make them love God. I can't make them worship God, but I can give them space to learn and grow at their own pace to help them. Because I've seen other times where kids are upset because the leaders come and make them hold their hands, try to do all stuff with them. Like, get away from me. I mean, think about this. If you're an adult and you're in Sunday service and some leader came up to you, start making you lift your hands, how would you feel? Like, give these kids space to grow. This is my opinion. Give kids space to grow, because once that growth is real, it's theirs, right? Give them space. Let them do their thing. Let them observe what's going on, especially new kids, right? And even sometimes older kids. Like I got some kids in our kids ministry now that their parents are on staff, and sometimes they don't want to get up and sing the song. Hey, that's fine, as long as you're not disturbing anybody else. And other times, they're the ones in front doing their thing, right? Give them space to grow, to be people, just like we need space to grow. So think about that as you approach ministry. You can't make kids grow, but you can give them space to grow. Let me know what you think. Hey, give me some feedback. I would love to hear your comments, because maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm not the right. Maybe you got a different approach to it. But I want to give kids space to grow in their own time and their own way. And ultimately, let God grow them versus me trying to get them to grow. I want to provide them all I can, but ultimately God gives the growth. Matter of fact, I think the Bible says this. It is some water, some plant, but it's God who gives the increase. And we'll find that passage. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But think about that. You can't force kids to grow. Like, can't force a plant to grow, but you give them space to grow. I'm Mr. Brown with Proclaim Ministries. Hopefully this video is helpful to you, help you as a kids leader, and all the content that we make, hope is beneficial for you to live for God by connecting faith and life. Peace!